Hello, everybody. Don't miss this show, the 200th show for Sports Central. And to prove it, we have some very special guests. Bill Heath, Weber International University Athletic Director and recent inductee into the Hall of Fame. Nigel Phang. We also have U.S. Olympic Committee governing body, USA Waterski Executive Director, Bob Crowley. Stick around, everybody, for this edition of Sports Central. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson, my co-host, Mr. Hank Longo.
Hello, everybody.
200th
show. That's hard to believe.
It's phenomenal.
How we started off. Yeah, it's phenomenal. We both have lived this long to make it to the 200th show. They've got balloons. Look at this. It's a celebration. I love it.
Yeah, the production crew here at PGTV, we had the opportunity to write a little blurb about the show, what it means to have a 200 show, and one of the things I pointed out is that we have a great crew, directors, producers, and camera people. I mean, it's just phenomenal.
It's been great. And of course, we have some great sponsors, and the Days Inn and Suites in Lakeland North to sponsor this first segment of Sports Central.
Well, it's supposed to be high energy, buddy.
I'm just getting revved up here.
I think Kate said something about that, so we'll not disappoint. And we do have a special guest, a very high energy guy by the name of Bill Heath. Many of you know Bill from the sports world, whether it be tennis, volleyball, basketball, and assorted other sports. He is the athletic director at Weber International University that is growing exponentially, not only in terms of students, but also in the athletic program. Bill, welcome to the show. You're also a recent inductee, just been voted on by the Ledger Media and the induction crew to the Polk County Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir, very much.
Well deserved.
Well deserved is right. And particularly taking a look at your resume and the things that you've done over the years. It's got to be an honor. Of course, you went to Winter Haven High School, graduated in 1966.
There you go.
A couple of years ago. But nonetheless, the local boy made good, comes back, living in Babson Park now, living the dream.
Living the dream. And working the dream at Weber.
Yeah, that's
true. It's been a passion since 1982.
Yeah.
So
you've been at Weber since 82?
I came in '82, and you would never guess who hired me at Weber, and you know him very well.
Rex?
Grant?
No, Grant Pichet.
Grant Pichet.
Grant Pichet hired me at Weber. In 1982-83, he was the head men's basketball coach at Weber, and they ran an ad for an assistant coach, and I applied and interviewed, and Grant hired me. Then he left after that year. That's why I always kid him. I said, Grant, you got me there. I'm still there. You bailed out on me after 1 year.
Well, how old is Grant?
How old is Grant?
Yeah.
He should be around 50 now.
Okay.
Yeah, he was very young at that point in time.
Okay.
Of course, we all were young.
He's still young. We're all young.
Yeah.
Some younger than others.
Yeah, moving right along on that note. Bill, I'll ask you a question now before I die on the show. Celebrating our 200th. Hank finally passed away at 104 years old. But he looked good. How did you get involved in coaching? How did this all begin?
It was strange. I attended, I graduated from Winter Haven. I always played tennis. I went to Polk. Back then it was called Polk Junior College. That's how old I am. And played tennis there 2 years under Bill Carr, and then got a scholarship and went to Appalachian State and played tennis there for 2 years, majored in physical education. And all I really wanted to do was coach. I didn't really want to teach, but we owned a family business. I got a deal that I couldn't turn down to go into the family business, and I did that for 21 years actually. Had the opportunity to go to Weber in '82 part-time, and then that developed into full-time. And I was there from '82 to '86. And the president at the time had the hindsight or foresight or no sight. He dropped the athletic program cold turkey in 1986, shut the whole program down. So I left, went back to the family business. Stella and I opened up a travel agency, Contemporary Travel in Lake Alfred. And when Rex Yentis became president in 1990, I got a phone call, and he asked me back, and I thought about it one day and called him up and said, I'm in.
I'm in, yeah, sure.
So Rex did, and the AD at that point in time, ironically, was John Dunlap, who was the head basketball coach at Southeastern, and now he's assistant AD at Warner.
Okay.
So it's a small world in our little athletic cycle here, you know, in Polk County.
Wow.
Well, you've got some big plans coming up too. You know, we were talking off air a little bit earlier that the football stadium that you put so much work in and planning and so on, unfortunately because of those sand skinks
And gopher tortoises.
and gopher tortoises, yeah, you know. Anyway, without further comment, but they had to move the stadium, proposed football stadium now, that will seat how many?
This particular stadium that we have had designed now, and the engineering has been completed on it, would seat approximately 5,000 fans, which for an NAI school, a small school of 800 like we are, that we feel like that would be an adequate seating. Plus, there's more room to add, you know, temporary seating if necessary to that project. But the exciting thing about the football stadium being located, it would put all of our athletics right in one zone on campus, and at the same time, we would definitely use artificial turf on the football field, but we would also artificially turf the softball field and the baseball field, and it would really open up a lot of areas, that a lot of things we can do with those fields, especially in the summertime. And biggest thing that we're looking at right now is football camps coming in, because they would have that entire area, all that acreage.
And plus turf, when you don't have to worry about rain, you know, that water
Exactly.
stuff.
On it all the time. How is, I mean, now you're getting a stadium. How over the years have you been able to build this program?
The football program or the athletic
Well,
program?
really the whole athletic program.
Well, it's been a journey. It's been exciting. I know when I first went there, we had 4 tennis courts. Mr. Yentis was kind enough to add 2 more courts on in about 1992, which gave us 6, which made us legal. We were so bad in the 1980s with tennis, teams would come and play us and only bring 4 players because we only had 4 courts, because they knew they would win the match with 4 players, and they didn't want to have to stay later to play, so they would come beat up on us, and then they were out of there, you know. But the gymnasium was built in 1985, the current Sabai Athletic Center. Have we outgrown it? Yes, athletic-wise we have, fan-wise. I mean, yeah, it's a great atmosphere if it's packed. It's like the old Indiana gyms, and but no better atmosphere in the conference than we have in our gym. But could we use another gym, a second gym? Yes, we could. We have men's basketball, women's basketball, volleyball, in addition to JV women's basketball, 2 JV men's teams, and this year adding a JV volleyball team.
Oh my gosh!
So yeah, we're all over the map on our athletic teams, but the facilities are adequate. Lake Wells Field has worked well for us for the last 10 years. We'll hopefully this will be our last year using that facility, because it'll be so nice to play at home on your own field. And our soccer field is currently shares with softball. To alleviate that situation, we're moving soccer to where the football practice facility is now. Soccer coaches and soccer players don't enjoy playing on turf. They want to play on real grass. So that facility is being upgraded, and that's where men and women's soccer will move to.
So you're planning on having the stadium playable in 2015?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Correct. That is correct.
Ooh. That's
Lots to do, still more money to raise.
Yeah, that's still on the fast track, though.
And we'll accept your check, while we're here. So.
I'll defer to Hank.
And if you wanted to write that out right now.
I forgot Hank was the one with all the money.
Yes, I am. That's why I love doing this TV show, because I have nothing else to do. You know, I just would be spending frivolously if I wasn't here. So, let's talk about the team. You got a big event coming on in football this fall, which is kind of unique. 2 Polk County teams going at it.
First time ever, first time in history, and we're trying to make it a big deal. We're getting commemorative footballs made. We would love for Polk County Sports Marketing to be very active in that and be there and participate in the game. Our president will be throwing his special tailgate party prior to the game, And we'd like to invite all of you guys to that.
To
and
tailgate, that's just be like right being at home for you, a little tailgate party. You can fit right in there.
We're excited.
Wear your little cheese hat there.
No cheese hats.
And that's September 7th, right?
September 7th, 7 p.m. night game. Mark Vassard, your friend, and he's flying in, doing a night flight in with
on a hang glider.
Yep, to deliver the game ball to the middle of the field. And our county commissioner for our area, Melanie Bell, she said she would be there, and excited to always have Melanie at our events, and hopefully more county commissioners and more people will want to come than that. So we're excited. I mean, we're doing a name the game contest right now. I don't know if you saw that in the Ledger, but it's on both websites. So
a name of the game.
We're looking for a name, and we're looking for someone to help us with a trophy that we'll both settle on. And every year that game would be like the Battle of Crooked Lake or the Battle of Calusa Lake, whatever it's going to be called. And then the team will have a traveling trophy to the winner each year. So we're trying to make it a big deal. Which it is a big deal.
Yeah, it is, very much so.
The war in Babson.
The Warren Babson. Well, there you go.
There you go. You need to submit that, sir.
There you go. Bill, let's talk a little bit about the Hall of Fame. I mean, obviously, there's you're in good company. Major League Baseball players, NFL players. I mean, it's phenomenal, the talent that we have in Polk County that's come out of Polk County. Not just the athletes themselves, but the people that make it happen as well. You're one of those guys, although you're a heck of an athlete in I hate that term, in the day, but in your day, and so on. But what does that mean to you? I mean, how do you feel about that? That's got to be, just a wonderful feeling to be nominated and then ultimately selected.
Well, I think I'm still in shock. I mean, it really, I tried to talk my sports information director out of nominating me. I just didn't feel like I was worthy. I mean, you work your whole life, you do what you. Luckily for me, I got to really do what I enjoy doing, and you don't coach for that reason. I mean, I feel like Stella was asking me this morning. She says, "How many lives have you touched?" Because the emails have just been pouring in from all over the world. So Facebook and I said, "I don't know, Stella. I hadn't kept up with it, but." You do it for reasons, not looking to be rewarded or to be awarded, and I don't think it's really set in or hit hard that I'm part of the Hall of Fame, and well, I'm not yet because I haven't been officially inducted, have I?
Well, that's I think that's June 25th, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. I may go broke buying tables because I've had so many people from all over the state that have said, we're coming.
Perfect.
We're coming. So, you guys are going to come out smelling like a rose that night. But yeah, I'm excited. I really am. It just hasn't hit. It'll probably hit that night. I mean, might hit hard, which I hope it doesn't because I've got to talk, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, that's okay. It's and it's truly the best speeches we heard, and have been shorter, but they've been to the point, and it's just the way you feel about the event, and when you hear those types of speeches, those are the most impactful, and a couple of good stories. You know
what I'm excited about? Nancy Denton's going in the same time, and Al Kaline. Al Kaline was a childhood hero of mine. When I was young. Al Kaline and Bill Heath. I mean, that makes no sense to me. But anyway, Nancy, she really, really deserved it. And we have two people from East Polk County, and that's very important. Going to you know how I feel about that.
Oh yeah, a little bit of balance there. But you take a look at the talent that's come out of the that side of the the county as a whole. It is extremely unusual. It's anormal or abnormal or whatever the correct term would be. It's really a phenomenal group of people that have just come out of here and succeeded both at the amateur ranks, the professional ranks, and so on. So that's a great honor. We're looking forward to it. It'll be a big night for Polk County. Of course, the Ledger Media Group is there. Also, Bright House Sports Networks. Got a little plug for Bright House. We'll be covering the event again this year with Drew Felios, and that's always just a real pleasure, kind of a highfalutin affair.
Yeah.
And you know, it's something that you get once in your lifetime.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
You know, kudos.
Thank you, sir, very much. Appreciate that.
Certainly a tribute. You know, one of the, Bill, one of the things before we let you go, you talked a lot about your coaching successes you've had, particularly in tennis. That you know, when I read through the, you know, your bio and this, I didn't realize all of that because it's pretty phenomenal, at least in my opinion. But on the coaching side, and now more the development side of the athletic program, there, a lot of the behind-the-scenes things that have happened at Weber to make it a much more of a powerhouse in the world of sports, like the weight room.
Oof.
Oh, yes. I mean, you talking about it. Man, I like to be in there every single day. I mean, it is phenomenal, phenomenal weight room, and you know, your athletic trainers now. That really had to take a vision and a lot of planning, because it's truly made a difference in your program.
Well, we started out, as the athletic program was growing, I've been in the AD 9 years now, and we felt like we needed a strength and conditioning coach, and you know how it is when you're talking about spending money, it's difficult. You know, upper administration gets involved, and I know you've been there, done that. But we finally got conceded, and we brought in a graduate assistant to run the fitness center, and he was there 2 years, and of course he's done, he moves on. So we brought another graduate assistant in, and this guy was a keeper. I mean, there's no way we could let that guy leave Weber. And Steve Razzle, he's still there. He's our head strength and conditioning coach, and this young man has vision. I mean, much more so than I have, and he has grown the program. He has a full-time assistant now, and he has 6 interns that come in and they work a semester. Some of them stay 2 semesters, and they take care of all of our student athletes. And we have 600 student athletes at Weber, and they make times. Sometimes it's 5 in the morning, sometimes it's 7 at night, but every team is looked after by that strength and conditioning staff. And it's made a huge difference in our injury situation.
Oh,
So.
Well, Bill, first of all, last of all, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
We're proud of you, and it's well-deserved. And we're looking forward to September 7th for the very first collegiate football competition in Polk County. I mean,
Between 2 Polk County schools.
so that's a big deal.
And expect the invitation in the mail. Sir,
well,
so.
we'll definitely be there. It's going to be a good time. So thanks again for joining us. We appreciate it. And ladies and gentlemen, one of the another stellar school, a little bit lower level, is McKeel Academy. And wow, we had some talent come out of there too, including Kevin Valentine, who was a superstar in the world of track and field. We have some special footage and a little bit of a tribute to Kevin. Stick around, everyone. We'll be back right after this.
I got into track and field in 6th grade, but in elementary, my coach, my PE coach, Coach G, he played this game called Jump the River, and I was the best at it, and I got 12 foot 11 inches my first jump or whatever. Well, not the last jump. And he was like, you should try out for track next year. So I tried it out in 6th grade. Towards like 9th grade, I moved up to the hurdles, and I was pretty good at it. And then like in 10th grade, I started back doing the triple jump, and I was actually decent at it, and I made it to the regionals for both of them. My favorite athlete would be Michael Johnson. He runs the 400. Well, he broke the record for the 400 a while back in the Olympics, and I kind of liked the 400. That was one of my favorite events whenever I first started track, and I want to try and break our school record for the 400. I came in 5th for the 110 hurdles, just missing going to state in my 10th grade year, and 6th for the triple jump after not doing it for a couple of years. And now for 11th grade, I made it for state for all 4 of my events: long jump, triple jump, 110 hurdles, and the 300 hurdles. It's never happened for us before, and my coach was really proud. I placed 8th in the long jump. I placed 7th in the 300 hurdles. I placed 9th in the 110 hurdles, just missing it, another medal, and 11th in the triple jump. On hard days, we're usually like running all out 400s or doing hurdles or doing our main events. And and on easy days, he just has like a stretch or just do our event and get prepared for the meet. My friend Dustin, he like pushes me and motivates me more. He's always like, hey, come over, let's work out, or let's go up for a bike ride, and he like pushes me. His mom, she gets me everywhere, and he takes me to my meets and takes me home and they both make sure I'm like fed and ready, prepared. My friend Dustin would describe me as funny, athletic, and he's just like me basically. But I'm shy and he's not. And I'm not very talkative unless like I know you for a while. I played soccer this year. It was my first year and I made varsity. And everyone thinks I should try out for wrestling. Coach Morgan is always bugging me to do it, and I might do it next year if I have the time. In my free time, I usually hang out with my friends and go to the movies or just chill at their house and go for a swim. And I go to church. Sometimes I go to Victory, sometimes I go to Bethel. My favorite subject in school is math, and I want to be an architect. If I don't go anywhere with architecture, I want to go into the Marines or something. If I end up going to college for track on a scholarship, I'd like to go to FSU. I really like the Seminoles. Next year I can probably come home with 4 medals, and I'll try my best to come home with like a first place eventually.
Hey everybody, and welcome back. As promised, Mark and Hank, 200th show.
200th show, amazing.
And we brought it, you know, all stops.
It's kind of fun to think of how we've changed over 200 shows, from our first set to
different sets,
different sets, and just all the guests that we've had on the show all these years.
But as a host, what, as far as comfort, you know, and being able to do the things that you want to do, which one is the most comfortable?
I like this
professional.
This set, I think, has really turned out great. It's fun. I think our first set was neat too. I really liked it.
The table, and
I think this for talking and having a conversation, having your paperwork so that you know who your sponsors are. Like Harry's Old Place, our sponsor of the second segment of Sports Central.
Great place on Cypress Gardens Road. If you haven't been there, one of my favorites, of course, Harry in the Bag.
Harry in the Bag. It's a fantastic place to dine.
It's
please
phenomenal. Visit. Yeah. And go over and say hi to Bruce and Harry at Harry's Old Place.
Yeah.
You got to get there early because it is crowded. Well, one of the sports that in 200 shows that we have never had,
that's
other than
right.
covering the Sunshine State games and a couple of events, we've never had on the show. We've never had a real guy. Nigel Phang is with us, who has a club in Lakeland. Obviously looking to grow that club. Nigel, welcome. And you're going to have to explain all this stuff because, you know, this sword or whatever it is almost looks like one of those things that you know when you're working on your car or your truck and it has a magnet at the end, and if you put it up,
yeah. And as you notice, you can use this for also cutting off a head. That's probably not too many anymore. Watch this demonstration live here on TV. How did you get into fencing? Has always fascinated me, to watch it, but
because you see it on the Olympics, and I mean, as everybody kind of goes, "Wow, that's cool," and you think of Zorro, and
you think of
all
Zorro,
that stuff.
Back in the day, Zorro and I hung out.
A lot of these kids, kids these days, they don't even know who Zorro is. And then that rock music they listen to. Oh, and their hair.
Oh, I'm telling you. Long-haired hippies, I'm telling you. So how did you get into this, Nigel?
Well, I need 3 things in the sport. I need safety. my medical insurance is not that
bad.
good.
Okay, that's
and I need competitiveness. I need a competitive sport, and I need intensity. And I had a back injury 10 years ago, and when I was recovering from that, I was, I had done martial arts before, and when I would go to schools and take a look, see if I could get back in, they were either too intense, or they weren't intense enough. And what I like about fencing is that you choose your level of intensity. Sort of like being a runner. You can, just jog around the lake, or you can, go to the New York Marathon if you want.
Now, that's, pretty interesting stuff. Talking a little bit about the equipment it really fascinates me because most of us don't know a whole lot about fencing, admittedly. But I know there's different types of swords, like there's a épée, right? Épée, okay.
Which is this one right here.
Okay, now that has
these weapons are not really that close to what a real weapon is, because what they have to do is you have to be able to make the hit. They are metal, and you can get a bruise from it, but they also have to flex, because a real épée wouldn't flex at all. So. They all flex.
Is that
like
so
that.
You can see it to score it, or?
In the old days, yeah, but we have electronic scoring now. But that is really so it doesn't really hit that hard, because the actions are really full out. You know, you don't really hold anything back and just make a little hit. You really go right out, and you count on proper technique and that flexibility in the blade to not hurt someone else.
The intense part,
right?
What you were talking about a little bit earlier,
right?
Okay, and the smaller.
This one is a foil. It looks just a lot like the épée, but it's thinner and lighter. And this one is a saber, which is, if you see the grip, it's a lot. It's based on the cavalry weapon, which is an edged weapon. You know, you're riding along on your horse and you can cut and thrust with it. These two weapons here are only point weapons. If you look at these, they have a little button on the end.
Okay.
And that's for to activate the electronic system, which you wire up from here and run the cord and all of that. And you can only score with the tips of these weapons. This one you can score both cut and thrust, as the way you would see in the movies.
Okay.
Wow.
That's phenomenal stuff.
Yeah.
Nigel, where are you from? Are you from Polk County, or?
No, I've been in Polk County about 8 years.
Okay.
I lived in Hillsborough County for quite a while. I'm a USF alumni, and where's that alumnus? I can't remember.
Close enough.
But I grew up in Jamaica and in New York.
Okay. Now, you had mentioned earlier, and I want to talk about your club a little bit. The segue to it is, in Tampa there was a couple of pretty strong clubs with, held some really good tournaments, which is the key to hosting tournaments. You got to have a strong club.
Right.
You're growing it in Polk County, which I think is tremendous, and I'd really like to see it in the school system. I think it would be a great program, but tell us a little bit about where your club is located and how people get in touch with you.
Well, first, can I address the school system?
Sure.
I agree with that, because one of the things I like about fencing is that kids get to interact with adults on an equal level. I mean, that's not so great for me, because losing to a 12-year-old at a tournament, there's not much in it. But the thing that I find about kids is they really come up to your level when you have to interact with them equally. And the sense of responsibility and the courtesy and all of that, they just come right up automatically. But my club, I just got it into Kelly Rec at the end of last year. We don't have a website up yet, so if anyone's interested, they can always contact Kelly Recreational, which is a great facility that they just expanded recently. And the club in Tampa that you talk about, one of them, I started there, Tampa Fencing Academy. And the sport right now, I mean, Polk County is really ready for the sport, and the sport nationally is growing. By the way, one of our guys just won foil in Havana, which for an American foilist is unheard of, right? Until, I would say, the Athens Olympics, it was nearly unheard of for America. It was a European-dominated sport. And
what is foil for the?
This is the foil, right?
Okay.
And what will distinguish the foil, two things is, again, I said it's only a point weapon. You can only score with the point of it with a thrust, right? But the targeter is also restricted just to the torso. And horrifically enough, that was to train people to only make lethal hits.
So if you're going to do it, make sure you take the guy out. I mean, why waste any time here?
Well, yeah, if you only can score with the point, hit with the point, and you hit somebody in their hard head, and that doesn't put them out, you might be in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, so, they poured a lot of effort into the American fencing program, particularly the women's saber team, which you might have heard of. People like Meryl Zagunis, who was a gold medalist twice and world champion. And before that, America, even though we've had an organization for more than a century, we were just part of the laughing stock of the fencing world. And now we have Ray Imboden that just won the gold in Havana, a World Cup. Our team won the gold in Paris, of all places. So the sport's really growing, and so I'm hope my club at Kelly Rec, which is Imperial Lakeland Fencing, by the way.
There you go.
the Imperial being the modifier on Lakeland, which everybody, you know, when I hear Imperial Lake, they think, isn't that a little arrogant? And I go, no, you just didn't learn your grammar. It's Imperial Lakeland, not Imperial Fencing.
Your grammar and your grandpa. Yeah. Nigel, you mentioned you got started in Tampa. And
Right.
How old were you?
So I was 39.
Okay. So you're a spring chicken.
Yes.
Okay,
Very
gotcha.
young. I'm hoping to be world champion.
Well, let's talk
Within the
about the
next 5
rankings,
years.
because where you ranked and how's that?
I'm currently
done?
ranked at a D.
Okay.
You know, I think I'm a little. Everybody likes to think they're a little better than their ranking, right?
Yeah.
So, but I don't really compete that much this year. I had hoped to, but the rankings go from U unrated to E, D, C, B, and A. A being the highest ranking level, and if you want to get a perspective on it, there are probably maybe 4 A-rated fencers, foilists in Florida.
Oh my God!
Right.
So you got to be. This is like the elite.
Yeah,
best of the
that's
best.
at the, you're ready to fence at the
Olympic level
national or
fencer.
international level.
Okay.
Okay.
When you achieve an A.
Okay.
And how do you? So apparently you get ranked by how you do in tournaments.
Right. There's a national organization, the USFA, United
That
States
sanctions the
Fencing
tournaments. Okay.
Association, and they are connected to the international body. And all fencers at tournaments are required to have a membership with the USFA. And one of the things they do is to track your performance and issue your rating.
Okay. And that's based on competition, right?
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. And that's what another thing I loved about the fencing is that regardless of your age, and I know people who are in their 70s that still fence, you can have an opportunity to compete,
Because you can compete at your level.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And I said, you choose the intensity. If you want to go out there and really get it, you can. If you just would like to have a good time, that's fine too.
A little more recreational or
Right.
or whatnot versus the
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of interesting. Well, you've competed in the Sunshine State Games now since 2007. It's coming up again this year throughout the state of Florida, but predominantly here in Polk County. That, as far as fencing in the state, is that kind of the top event, or is there a state championships? How does the competitive structure work in fencing here in Florida?
Actually, there's a big venue for a lot of venues for fencing in the state. Clubs, which there are a number in the state, will hold their own small tournaments. Right?
Okay.
Those are fun to go to. And then some of the clubs, like the Gainesville Club at the university there, they are actually, over the years, they've probably been putting on tournaments for at least a decade straight. And their last one that I went to at the beginning of the year was phenomenal. They had 62 fencers only in the foil category.
Really?
And when you're talking about holding an event on the area the size of a basketball court, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And So there's the 3 weapons, and I think the epee section had more than the foil, and the saber section had at least as many. So that is getting to be a premier tournament for the state. The Sunshine State Games has fluctuated in terms of, I've seen as many as 60 or more in just the foil category, and last year it wasn't quite as big, but as I said, it was also sponsored by the local organization, and they have some difficulty right now.
Well, it's all good stuff. I think it's a fantastic sport. And again, if people want more information, all you have to do is go to Lakeland Parks and Rec Department and then go to their website for Kelly Recreation, and they can get in touch with you, and you'll walk them through it.
Or
give them an education.
You can contact me at Imperial Lakeland Fencing at hotmail.com.
Imperial Lakeland Fencing at hotmail.com. Got it. Hey, thanks so much for coming. Thanks for bringing the stuff in. I know you had to jog a little bit,
Yeah,
but
this is looking pretty good.
That is
looking pretty good. Yes, I'll be hosting the last segment of the show, ladies and gentlemen, but it'll still be fun. As we shish kebab Mr. Jackson on this lovely Friday.
Grady Judd will be in here before the show is over, I'm sure.
I'm sure he'd enjoy.
Nigel, once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
That's
you.
some great stuff, and good luck with the club and
thanks for coming
tournaments
on.
coming up.
And let me say, I love the Florida Sports Foundation and the Sunshine State Games. It's my game.
That's it.
So this year I'm winning.
Good. That's what we like to hear.
Best of luck. Thanks again.
All right.
Well, everyone, speaking of state competitions, the Florida Youth Soccer Association, which is actually the largest sports governing body in the state of Florida, 108,000 members, had their state cup, and we have footage. You got to check this out. Some of the best soccer players in the country in this event. We'll be back. Stick around.
Well, the Florida State Cup is an open competition for all teams that are in Division I from age groups U13 through U19. We have 471 teams that started the competition that began in the end of March, and we are up to the round of Sweet 16 for all of those age groups. After today and tomorrow's play, we will be whittling down the round of 16 to the final 4, who will compete for our championships in the middle of May. There are 80 teams here that are our location this weekend because we have 5 age groups and 16 teams in each. So probably several thousand people will be out at the complex this weekend, and tomorrow we'll have about half that many, since half of our teams competing today will go home.
The FYSA League it's definitely one of the more premier leagues in the country. I feel Florida does well in representing soccer at its best level. In this specific tournament, right now we're in the round of 16. There's 16 teams left in the State Cup. What we're trying to do is obviously continue to advance. We do have a huge target on our back by being the #1 seed in the state. But our main focus is just to go out there and do the best we can. Work hard, apply ourselves, be tactically sound, and most importantly, technically sound. I think at the end of the day, we can walk away with the result that we're looking for. You know, our boys are getting better. I've been coaching this particular team for about 4 years. I had them when they were U9. It's been an incredible transition. We've seen the team grow from playing 6v6, 8v8 to now 11v11. We play a newer, modern style 4-3-3. It does incorporate the dynamic style of offensive play that we want, as well as incorporating now a defensive mechanism to keep a strong formation. So we do stay true to that Barcelona style soccer we like to play. At the most times, we do engage and attack and become very offensive minded.
Working with Florida Youth Soccer brings in a special role because you get to deal with over 100,000 kids, 20,000 coaches, 260 teams on a daily basis, where we can not only promote the game of soccer, but also give the youth something fun to play in between middle school and high school. Florida Youth Soccer is actually promoted through our sponsors, which are our 3 professional teams, the Tampa Bay Rowdies, the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, and Orlando City Soccer. Our top 3 sponsors are Publix, which is a brilliant sponsor of ours, always doing fantastic things for the kids. Another sponsor is Score Sports, which is our apparel sponsor, which is able to give us a great discount for our teams. Our 3rd large sponsor would be Polk County Tourism Sports Marketing, which hosts the majority of the events with us here at Lake Merrill Sports Park, which is where our home office is.
I enjoy every second of coaching. I think it's something that everybody should do at one point in their life because you build such a great relationship. You enjoy the sport so much more. You're so much more passionate. I can relate that passion to these kids and they can relate it back to me. So I'm living through them and we build such a nice bond.
I love being out here working with the kids and seeing the smiles on their faces. At times there's always some aggravating parts, but it just takes a couple of kids to come up afterward and say thank you and how much they appreciate all that you do. That keeps bringing all the volunteers back who are a part of this.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Mark Jackson and Hank Longo here. And Hank, we've, wow, 2 stellar guests. We've got one more coming. It's awesome.
It's our 200th show anniversary.
He gets all excited about that.
I love it, I love it, I love it. Thank you, Lord, for letting me live this long. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you made it through the fencing segment.
I made it through the fencing segment alive. Imagine that. But that was fascinating because of many, for as many years as I've watched fencing, to get a little inside scoop on it.
Yeah.
And
it's,
fun sport.
I think it'd be a fun one. I think that'd be a gas. What a great, like for this, we're just talking about the school system. I mean, what a fantastic sport that would be.
It would be.
Oh, gee whiz. And it doesn't take a whole lot of money or equipment. Is not that expensive. But anyway.
But now we want to start our 3rd segment and thank the Ramada Inn Hotel and Conference Center in Lakeland for our sponsor on this 3rd segment. And it just happens to be my favorite sport and probably your favorite sport too we get to talk about.
And I'm going to let you lead it off.
Oh, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us for the 3rd segment here on Sports Central, the Executive Director of USA Waterski, Mr. Bob Crowley. And Bob, great having you on the show.
Great, thanks, Hank. It's always good to see you.
It's good seeing you too, and kind of get to see what we do a little bit outside the office.
Yeah. Well, I see you guys at our Waterski events all the time, and it's great to see you in a different environment here.
Well, we've done some interviews for all different television shows and all that type of stuff, and have had that opportunity. But Bob, tell us a little bit about USA Waterski. A lot of people really don't understand what it is.
Of course, yeah. We are a national governing body for the sport of waterski in the United States. So we're one of about 45 sports. You had fencing on. The national governing body headquarters for fencing is in Colorado Springs, with probably 20, 25 other governing bodies. We're the only national governing body for a sport in Florida, I believe. So, and certainly the only one in Polk County. Mm-hmm. So we're real pleased to be here. We're in Polk County, being the water ski capital of the world. We're right where we should be. These are our people.
Well, Bob, you came from and I'm going to jump in here real quick, but you came from another actually 2 other governing bodies that I want you to kind of just mention briefly, because that Olympic family is a very prestigious family, and those positions are obviously well known. People will understand after you tell us where you came from.
I grew up in the sport of figure skating. That was my sport growing up, and I had the privilege of working for U.S. Figure Skating, the national governing body in Colorado Springs. I was there for 11 years. And then from there, I went over to U.S. Speed Skating to try to work through the challenges that are presented there, and they're abundant. And I was there for the Olympic cycle from 2006 to 2010. So I was with U.S. Speed Skating with the team up in Vancouver and Apollo Ono, and 10 medals during the Olympic Games. It was a great experience. But since then, I've been down here in Florida with USA Waterski, and it's been great meeting this group of people. And the folks I've met here are spectacular. What a great
wonderful.
bunch of people, I'll tell you what.
They have a passion for it.
Yep.
Here's one that has probably as much or more passion than anybody in the
Oh,
sport.
yeah.
We need to get him into the Hall of Fame one of these days too, with
Yeah.
all the announcing that he's done over the years, and of course, former national champion and all of that, good record holder.
Record holder. I
Yeah.
remember when he
We
was a
gotta-
record holder.
We got to get that right. But
right.
it is a part of the
Thanks.
U.S. Olympic family and Pan American sports.
Right.
But Hank, you've worked with Bob in a lot of different capacities over the years, and water skiing obviously is your number one sport.
Yeah, it is, and it's great to actually have you as the executive director, because you have really displayed a passion for this, which is, I think, something we needed for years. And not that fellas didn't do a good job in there, but you came in and you've had a passion, and you've gotten involved, and you've learned to ski, and I think that's so critical. And the fact that your mission is to help this sport grow. And I think one of the challenges of a sport that we do have is it's expensive. At the competitive level, it gets expensive, and to grow the grassroots portion of the sport and just to expose the sport, I think is critical to the growth, and you're just guns forward to trying to make that happen.
Oh, yeah. I am an AARP card-carrying member learning how to water ski. So anybody can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. It's been great fun. It really has.
And just the great events that we're having in Polk County. I mean, things are really coming to life here with ski fluid. That is, if you're not familiar with USA Water Ski, it's off exit 44 in Polk City. Instead of taking a left to Fantasy of Flight, you take a right and get to USA Water Ski headquarters in the Water Ski Hall of Fame and Museum, which you need to go visit someday. But then right behind that is Lake Grew, Jim Grew, who is an inductee this year into the Hall of Fame. And the lake fluid guy, the ski fluid guys back there that are putting on a lot of championships. And what that does, it gets people into the county, which is what we want to do. And they put on a lot of tournaments where they get the best skiers in the world to come compete, and getting people back in Polk County.
They have a number of record tournaments this summer. And probably the highlight of all the tournaments they did the Rocket Man night jump.
Yes,
and
indeed.
that's in October. And that's just a phenomenal event. It attracts people from all over Florida who come in to watch that. We have the top ski jumpers in the world to come and participate in that event. On Lake Grew, behind our headquarters, we set world records. Yeah. So it's a phenomenal opportunity for water skiing. And Scott and Kyle do a great job with that program there.
Well, one of the things that we definitely want to cover is the fact that USA Water Ski, we're talking about ski jumping, which is part of 3 event skiing. You have slalom, tricks, and jump. That's the traditional water ski competition, and that's what the guys and girls compete at the Pan American Games. But you have 8 others.
Right.
Talk a little bit about those 8.
We have 9 different sports disciplines that fall under the overall umbrella of USA Water Ski. The largest one is AWSA, which is the 3 event, which you just discussed, the slalom, jump, and trick. We also have a show ski division, which is almost equally as large. And show ski is a phenomenal activity. It gets a lot of family involvement in it. There's a show ski program over in Winter Haven.
Yeah. So Old Cypress Gardens. Yeah.
Cypress Gardens water ski team.
Yeah.
And they perform every, I think, the 3rd Saturday of every month. And I've seen that show over there. It's really a lot of fun. And you got a lot of talent there. Those guys used to ski over at Cypress Gardens when that show was going on.
And what's neat is they're trying to recruit people as well to get a part of the club. And it goes back to the roots is how you and I got started skiing, is you joined a ski club on a public lake. There weren't the private lakes that you find all over the place now. You went to a ski club and you skied 3 events, you skied the ski show, and the camaraderie that got built up from that is what helped make the sport grow. And they're bringing that old school back to Winter Haven with, when they have these shows, the announcer commentates, hey, come join the club. We'll teach you. And that's how you get people involved. And they're doing a great job there.
And we talked about the other sport disciplines. We have USA Wakeboard is one of our divisions.
Which is the hottest growing sport right now.
It's hot. We had our collegiate championships this past weekend in Shreveport, Louisiana. So, and as a national governing body, we have national championships in all of our sport disciplines in all parts of the country. So we move them around. We also have barefoot skiing, hydrofoil, disabled skiing. We have a disabled program. We have a collegiate program. So again, we have
racing.
Ski racing.
Yeah. That's more in California, though.
Yeah, more West Coast,
Yeah,
California,
West Coast
Arizona.
stuff.
Yeah. And they're world championships in the Canary Islands.
Oh, really?
So they're getting their team together to go out to the Canary Islands.
My
to compete.
condolences. That's
Yeah,
tough
place to
duty.
go.
Well, we've had a lot. We've held world championships in Polk County.
Yep.
Primarily affiliated with Cypress Gardens. The longest running 3-event tournament was the All-American for years and years and years and years. It's not going anymore.
And now, this Saturday, June 1st, is the 65th Lakeland Open.
Really? Is that at
Yeah.
Ski Paradise?
It's at Ski Paradise,
Mulberry.
and it's been going. This is the 65th year of the Lakeland Open, and
Wow.
yeah,
That was huge.
yeah. So it's still running. So Jeff Clark heads up that, and we're going to have a nice event in Mulberry on Saturday.
Well, some of these sports disciplines are interesting too. I remember, coming out of, after the shows were over at Cypress Gardens, and one of the questions that people ask you after the performance was, "Oh, that barefoot water skiing, doesn't that hurt your feet? I mean, you're going 40 miles an hour." And he says, "No, my feet are really no different than yours. They're just a little cleaner."
Good line.
Well,
Good line.
it was funny because one time I had this lady come up. People are fascinated with water skiing. I don't know if it's, has to do with Christ and walking on water, whatever it may be. And she comes up, grabs my foot, and that's when I told this story. She grabs my foot and wants to look at it. She says, "I'm a podiatrist. I want to look at your feet."
Really?
It was like, all right. I mean, I've had some strange requests over the years, but that was pretty interesting. But it's a show sport. It's really exciting, and people just, that affiliation with the U.S. Olympic Committee is huge.
Yeah.
To have that in Polk County, I mean, people just don't realize how important and how impressive that is in the world of sport.
Yeah, it really is.
Rafa, you missed the day. Stu McDonald, the barefooter, he was famous back in the day, but he would come to Hall of Fame events and everything barefoot. And
he was a barefoot water skier.
He was a barefoot water, so he wouldn't wear shoes.
He wouldn't wear shoes, huh?
Yeah, well, he had this card, and it was signed. I can't remember who the president was. I think it was President Kennedy that signed this card that said that he could go anywhere in the United States barefoot. They had his permission. And it was just a beat-up old card, but everywhere he'd go, he'd pull that card out. Oh, he was a character.
Oh, my God.
Oh, there's some characters in the sport of water skiing. It was unbelievable. But,
Yeah.
Look at that stranger starting to point at me. I'm not sure why. One of our cameramen over here, Russell Daly. So we have the mic. Don't forget. Well, Russell used to drive at Cypress Gardens. He is, one of my favorite drivers because I always knew what I was going to get. Fast. Woo!
At least you knew what you were going to get.
And
That's
then
a
if he was
big
mad
thing.
at you, it'd get faster.
Yeah, faster.
Good time. Good. It is America's family sport.
Yeah.
Bob, we talk about that all the time. That there's none better because you have to have a driver, passenger, and a skier, or more. Bob, thanks so much.
My pleasure. Glad to be here.
And
it's
any
great.
exciting things that you want to share coming up that we want the people to know before we let you go here?
Well, again, as a governing body, we're putting on national championships throughout the country. We have our show ski nationals, which take place up in Wisconsin, and Mark, you'll be there for that.
I'm doing the television announcing. Yeah.
Yep. And then we also have our 3-event championships in West Palm, Florida.
They'll be down in Okeechobee.
And you'll be down there for that.
Yeah, I'll be
so
announcing
we have a lot
those.
of big things coming up, and we're getting ready to select all of our world teams.
Oh,
that's all taking
coming,
place
yeah.
over the
That's
summer.
going to be in October, so
Oh,
I'll
that's-
be
that's
commentating
big.
that. I'm looking forward to that. That's
Well,
kind of
it's tough. I mean, the summertime is just crazy
Yeah.
at your office.
It is.
But that's great for us here in Polk County. And a little request for you when you go back. You tell Tracy, who's the new executive director of the American Water Ski Educational Foundation and the only water ski museum in the world, that we want to see her on the show.
She should be on the show.
Yeah, and she was the former executive director of the U.S. Olympia or the World Olympians Association, so she'll be a wellspring of information as well.
Absolutely.
So looking forward to having her.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Bob, thanks again.
Good. Thanks for having me.
Bob. Great
Appreciate
having
it.
you on the
Thanks,
show.
guys.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you. Little bit different venue. Not a whole lot of sports, except the run on Saturday night. that run? Mayfair by the Lake, and it is a tremendous event. 40 to 50,000 people attend on an annual basis. If you want to see some great arts, have a good time and some good snacks, check this out and attend if you can. We'll be back.
This morning. It goes to 4 today, and Saturday and Sunday. And tonight at 5, the party moves to Lake Mirror, and we'll have a street dance, free, open to the public all night with a live band, 5K race at 7 o'clock, and fireworks at 9.
Actually live in the Lake Morton neighborhood, so this event kind of takes over our backyard. Every year it's just a cool chance to see lots of interesting vendors, artists, musicians, all kinds of people coming out, both from the Lakeland community and the Central Florida community, showing off their art and other interesting things.
Artists who are juried in this year, and they represent 11 different mediums. It's everything from wood and ceramic to acrylic and oil painting, everything in between, sculpture. Between 65 and 70,000. This morning's crowd was very big, so I'm guessing it'll be at least that this year.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Central. Mark Jackson and Hank here.
And now you can see the balloons. Just real quick, it's our 200th show, yay. Okay.
Oh, some good stuff, and we had 3 just outstanding guests. I mean,
what a fun show.
Oh, great time. And for number 200, that was
good.
Fantastic.
Very good, very good. Hey, we've got some special people to thank on our 200th show, our sponsors that are always here to support us. Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill, the Best Western Plus in Auburndale, Hyatt Place Lakeland Center, Travel Lodge Lakeland North, and a Day Inn and Suites in Lakeland. Thank you so much.
And for closing out this segment will be Parkview Hotel, right across the street from the Legoland, Florida attraction. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. If you'd like more information about sports, you can go to visitcentralflorida.org or centralfloridasports.com. Don't forget our radio show on WLKF. If you'd like more information, check those out. If you can't stand not seeing Hank and Mark every single day, check out the following dates and times because we'll be on once again. This is Mark Jackson for the crew at PGTV and Hank Longo, and we'll see you again next time.